we just wanted to get on here and kind of tell you guys a little bit more about us and our journey to homesteading. So we started out, both of us wanting to homestead and have a farm and an acreage since we were just little kids. We both wanted different things, I would say.
Yeah.
What was your...
My grandpa farmed crops in Iowa, and that's a huge thing around there, having a bunch of land, farming crops. So that's what I knew as farming. I wanted to do that as a child, and as I grew up, I realized that that was a little bit unfeasible. So that was my idea of farming. Never really heard of homesteading or anything like that growing up. In Iowa, you own a lot of land and you farm crops, corn or soybeans, or you get hog buildings. And that was my idea of farming.
You wanted to take over Grandpa's farm eventually.
I wanted Grandpa's farm and wanted a homestead there once I heard of homesteading when I got a little older, yeah.
The hiccup to that was, one, it was very cold winters and the growing season's a lot shorter. And the biggest thing is that our daughter had a lot of health issues. She had a feeding tube, she had a really bad seizure when she was younger, and she was in and out of the hospital for years and years and years. She was very sick all the time, and winters there were harsh. As all of you more than likely have heard, winters just got very cold, there was a lot of snow, and she would end up in the hospital at least monthly, if not multiple times a month, very, very sick. A lot of times in the ICU. She was on a lot of meds for her seizures and her lung issues, and just so much happened with her that we wanted to find a solution to help her be healthier.
Yeah.
So we started looking across the country, and we were just, kind of grabbing at straws at that point, and quickly got offers for me to, like, job offers. So
More west than east.
yeah.
So at one point we were looking at like Arizona area, New Mexico, even Nevada, and places over west. And we never really thought about moving east at all. Mm-hmm. We knew we were going to go south some, but east was never really our first thought at all.
No.
We have nobody over here.
Yeah,
so.
Some of my other family live out in California, so we wanted to be closer to them. So honestly, we didn't ever consider coming over here, and all of this happened in a very short period of time. We had talked like casually about, it'd be fun to do this, but when we actually seriously thought about it, it went really fast, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
It was like in a matter of weeks, where it was just all of a sudden it was like, whoa. It kind of just quickly happened. So we decided to move, or to take the job offer in North Carolina. So we packed up all of our stuff. We got rid of a lot because obviously that's a big move.
Dumpsters full of stuff.
Yes. And donated as much as we could, and sold some, and just picked up a lot of our whole family, and moved away from family and friends and everything that we knew growing up, which was a big risk, but we felt like this was the best thing for our family, and for mainly our daughter's health. As we were in North Carolina, we loved it. Sorry, traffic. We loved North North Carolina. We moved a couple different places, trying to kind of just different job opportunities, but also just finding a place that we could put down roots for the kids.
Yeah.
What do we know?
We were way east in North Carolina first.
Yes.
And it was warmer. It was very humid. But where we were renting a place in a pretty large city. And at this point, we knew we wanted a homestead still someday, but did it look very promising at this point? Not really. We were just trying to get somewhere where our daughter could be healthy.
Which she was becoming a lot more healthy.
And she was, yes.
She was able to get off all of her meds, and she was starting to get better.
Yep. And so the warm weather definitely helped her.
And we noticed that. It was the first full year that she did not have to go into the doctor except for a well-child checkup, which in our eyes was just the biggest accomplishment.
We couldn't believe it.
It was so exciting and so relieving to know that she wasn't going to sit there and be suffering through all of these medical conditions. And then we ended up moving. We found an acreage that we thought would be good.
We moved from where we were far east in North Carolina and moved
more towards the mountains.
More towards the mountains and out of the city.
And we thought we were going to be able to buy that house. We tried everything. And you guys, through this, before we even found that acreage, we looked at everything you could think of. We looked
everywhere.
Raw land, we looked at established land, we looked at things over our price range, things under our price range, we looked at modular homes, we looked at
mobile homes, stick builds,
building our
camper
own home.
sites.
We thought of everything we could, and we looked into it, and we researched it, and we tried figuring out any way we could to start a homestead, because it's not handed to us. It's not something that we inherited, that was already established. That was something that this is all from, we're starting out from nothing with no support system. I mean, we had our support system back home, but it wasn't here. It was just us.
We knew no one.
And in that time, the pandemic hit. And that hit us. It hit us hard. For one, the isolation from that, we took very seriously because of our daughter. And
we didn't leave the house, really. She went to work.
And was very cautious about coming home.
And I'm type 1 diabetic, so it's an autoimmune disease also, so I took
he was at high risk.
Also. So between me and Aria, we didn't do much. And that was hard, especially knowing that we didn't have any family around. She went to work. She would come home, change behind a curtain outside, and climb in a bedroom window and straight to a shower. That's how serious we took it, because we knew that if Ariana got it, it would be very bad.
And just especially at the beginning, we didn't know there were so many unknowns with everything that was happening.
Yep.
That we didn't know how bad it could be, and we prepared for the worst. We didn't want that to happen. So we were looking everywhere very cautiously and trying to find everything. Sorry, hawk.
No, that was a vulture.
Vulture.
Knocking branches out of the tree.
We were just being very cautious, but through this we were looking really heavily into everything, trying to figure out how we can get on an acreage, and we were homeschooling the kids, which was hard for 2 years. It was hard. We were new at it. The kids were new at it. a lot of adjustments, going from being very social people to not much social, a lot of more, FaceTiming and Skype and stuff like that. So it was a tough transition and very hard. But we knew that we still wanted this and that we were going to do what we could to get us to a homestead. So after that, we again found this acreage, and we thought this was going to be it. Like, oh, it was great.
It's about 5 acres.
It was in the mountains.
It was, yeah, near in the foothills, kind of the mountains.
Yeah,
real close to the mountains in North Carolina. And it was about 5 acres. There was some usable land and some very steep land that was not very usable, but we were excited because we've never owned land, we've never had land like that, and our dream was getting closer to coming true. The people, it was a God thing. The people let us move in there before we had purchased it. Great older couple, and we finally made some friends that we wouldn't have made it without them.
Yeah.
And they were great people. Unfortunately, after trying every way possible to purchase that property, we couldn't make it work. So we rented it from them for about a year, right?
While trying to get it
purchase
purchased.
it.
And we tried everything we could think of. And it just wasn't working out.
It wasn't working.
So we prayed about it, and
yeah.
we were at our last straw. Like, what else do we do? We've looked at everything we can look at. We've tried every option that we could try. Like, we were kind of starting to feel very just, is this ever going to happen?
Yep. We could not seem to find a place that was in our price range and everything that we wanted. So, I mean, we literally...
Even just partly what we wanted. We just couldn't
We started with the size we wanted, which we thought was about 5 acres, We'd be happy with 5, maybe 10, And as we kept looking, we kept realizing that it wasn't going to happen. And we got all the way back down to looking at townhouses again.
More like 1 acre properties.
Or even half-acre properties with nothing we wanted.
Because we had
just to get something
started
with a little bit of land that we could do something with,
And we started kind of feeling like our dreams just weren't going to happen. We kept praying about it, and we kept looking. And again, we were at the point where it was like, we can't keep staying here. Because we can't get this. We've tried everything to purchase this, and we were just, we needed somewhere to go. We needed somewhere, and obviously we knew that we had a place. Like, we weren't getting kicked out immediately or anything, but we knew that we needed to move on, and so we kept looking, we kept praying, and we had a pretty good wish list, I would say. We wanted a source of water for the animals. We wanted a house or being able to put a house on it. Maybe a 1 or 2 outbuildings, a place to garden and for animals. Whether it be established or not, we had an idea of what we wanted, and then we found this place, and it was just like, could this be a reality? Like, what?
First off, I love North Carolina, okay, and I didn't want to leave at this point.
No.
Because we had made a couple. We knew our neighbors. That was better than we'd had in 2 years. So.
And they were amazing.
And,
they are amazing people.
Yeah, and I didn't want to leave at this point, and I wanted to stay near that area. But all of a sudden, she comes up to me hey, I found this place. You want to go look at it? I don't work in 2 days. Hey, let's get in the car and drive for a long time with all the kids and look at this place that we had no clue about. They had maybe 3 pictures online.
Very minimal information.
And was a little bit over our price range. Well, at this point, I'm like, okay, well, whatever. Might as well go look. I don't want to live there, but I like looking at places, you know? So we hopped in the car. We drove and we drove and we drove, and we dealt with the children throwing fits because
they
it
were
was a
actually
long
pretty
ride.
good. They were excited to look.
Yeah, they're excited, but if you got kids in a car, you know what we're talking about. But anyway, we got here. We drove up, and we kind of knew at that point that we were interested, so we looked. There was a small house on the property. On the other side of the property is the home place of the people that had owned this property for years and years. They had sectioned that off, just the house area, just a little house area for the house, right around the house. The rest of the property they were keeping with this other little house on the other side of the property, which would be the one we would be in.
Yeah.
So we looked at it and we walked some of the property. It was 66 acres, which
is way beyond our dreams.
We didn't ever think that would happen.
At least for now.
Right.
Maybe in 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
But not right now.
So at this point, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care if it's over our price range or not. Which it wasn't much, but I don't care if it is. We're getting this place because it's awesome.
But then we got back home, or got back to where we were staying, and we talked about it a little more, and we were like, oh, you know, we need to look at it a little closer. Because, you know, when you first look at it, you're all excited, like, oh my goodness, it's you only see the positive things. And so we decided, okay, we need to go back, and we need to look at this a little bit further and really see what we're getting ourselves into. And so we came back again a couple weeks later, and you know, obviously in any place there's pros and cons, and we know that we needed to do updating on the house. And so it's a 100-year-old farmhouse. It needs some updating. They have done some, but not to what we would like. So it needs updating, and we want to make it a little bit bigger. And so we have lots of plans to do things, but we decided, okay, you know what, can we make this work? Can we put in a down payment? And then this was a pretty good size down payment, and it was like, okay, well, can we do this? And
we had some money saved up, but it was pushing the limit a little bit. So we worked our tails off for the next
couple
months and did what we had to do. A lot of sacrifices were made during that first few months of being here and everything. But we made it work, and we got the place. So it's 66 acres and a little house that needs some updating.
And right now,
and
we're on the side of the property that you don't see most of our pasture. And we have probably 25 acres that are wooded that eventually can be cleared, or at least some of it cleared, to make more pasture land. But we have a very good sized pasture on the other side of the property.
I would say there's probably 30 acres of pasture, which the previous owner had a guy have some cows on it. So it's had cows on it for a lot of years.
Yeah.
And then there's a old tobacco barn over there.
Two of them, but one of them
has
not
converted.
Yeah.
Has gates in it and stuff for cattle, but And then I'd say about 30 acres of woods, and then about 6 acres of
where we're actually using.
where the house is at right now. That has a pretty good sized creek running through it, and it's pretty hilly and stuff over here. Once you get up the hill, it's fairly flat for the rest of the property. So
eventually we want to take a drone and be able to show you guys the property, but we haven't gotten there yet. We have so many plans for this place though. We've already kind of started some of it. We're getting our animals. We're just starting everything. We have a construction crew coming soon to start remodeling, or like start the addition and some of the main things of the house. But then we're gonna be doing a lot of construction too.
Yeah, we're gonna do as much of it ourselves as we can.
It obviously up to code and making sure everything's good, but we're really excited, and we want to bring you guys, like, we want to bring you on the journey. We're so excited that more people are interested in our journey, and we want to share the journey of, you know, we didn't start this out by getting it like inherited to us. Like, we worked hard to get to where we are, and we wanted a place that we could put down roots and that the kids could make friends, lifelong friends, and have a community and have somewhere that they call home. This has been something that we've dreamed of forever, and we are finally starting to finally come together. Like, obviously, on a homestead, you never have projects that are not done. Like, you always have a project to do. And we're just starting all those projects. We're just starting everything. And we were so excited to get here that we started a garden. And granted, by the time we actually were able to start this garden, it was like after you should be planting, okay? And
it was in between gardening seasons.
Yeah, like they should have already been up by now. And we were so excited to get going. And then we planted all of it, and we're all excited.
First of all, we had to dig tons of rocks, giant rocks, out of where we were going to plant it, out of clay. So the soil was terrible.
Yeah. And this property hasn't really been worked. We're really starting from scratch. This property has not been loved on for years. So we have a lot to do and a lot to start. Anyway, back to the garden. The garden, we started it, and then we had to go back home to Iowa for a while for some family things. And it did not look good when we came back. Let's just say we didn't have anything from that garden.
There was weeds taller than I was in that garden, and it was pretty bad.
But we weren't discouraged. I mean, it was disappointing, but we're not discouraged, and we are doing everything we can to like work the garden and the soil now, so in the spring we can plant another garden. We're having the animals on it and doing everything we can, and we're gonna bring you guys through all of this process. And we're really excited because there's a lot for us to learn, and we're not gonna show you that we know it all. We're not gonna say that we are experts on anything.
We're learning with
We're learning
you.
too, and we're gonna fail.
Let you learn from our mistakes.
Yeah.
And go from there.
We're excited, and we're excited that more and more people are coming onto our channel and wanting to learn and wanting to come through this journey with us, and we will show you the things that we know and the things that we screwed up on. But we're ready, and we're so happy that we have 100 subscribers now, and we're so excited about that. And we thank you guys so much for coming on over and being interested in our family. And the kids are just pumped. So we have more and more out to come. We've had some family things come up. We haven't been the best about posting regularly, but we definitely will be pushing out some videos very, very frequently and more often now. So we're excited and we're ready to go. Have a good one. We'll see you on the next one.
Peace out, y'all.